Today we're going to try and answer the question on everyone's mind. Is this the local top for Bitcoin? If you enjoy the content, make sure to smash that like button and subscribe. Without further ado, let's jump right into the video. So first things first, to kick off this video, we are at a decision time for Bitcoin. We talked about this in yesterday's video, but if you weren't aware, Bitcoin is now approaching the most important resistance level of the cycle. Now, when we set all-time highs for Bitcoin all the way back in December 2024, and then once again a new high in January 2025, we wicked above the 106.2K level on 2 occasions, but we were never able to close above 106.2K. Now there's a ton of significance here because it shows that price action was weak around this level. Now we are seriously getting close. Bitcoin wicked all the way up to around 105.5K, but I will still say that if we cannot hold above 106K as support on the daily time frame, it's likely that we are to see some more drawdown for Bitcoin. I know this is not what you want to hear after getting this massive pump from the low, but this area could still pose as resistance, and in today's video I will show you exactly why that is. Just to be clear here, if we can break above 106K, hold it as support, which we've never done before, I would probably be entering a long targeting well beyond the new all-time highs. But until proven otherwise, make sure you're cautious with longing Bitcoin because we could very well be approaching a local top. Over the weekend, we can see that we did get a nice pump after consolidating around the 102.5K area. Why did we get that pump? The US and China met in Switzerland to discuss their trade deal. Now, what was the outcome of this? China agreed to lower tariffs on US goods to 10%, down from 125% previously, and the US will lower tariffs on Chinese goods to 30%, down from 145%. Now this agreement is for 90 days. We'll have to see what the outcome is after this 90-day period. This is of course temporary, but very positive signs, and naturally this affected the Bitcoin price action. We also saw the stock market futures pump, and as we can see on the day, the Dow Jones futures is up 2.35%, the S&P 500 is up just under 3%, and the Nasdaq is up almost 4% before the market opens. Now, back to the Bitcoin chart. What is the scenario that I'm looking at? We talked about this scenario in my previous video where this could potentially be another top for Bitcoin right around 115K. But what I really wanted to show you today is taking a look at the previous range set in 2024. So as we can see here, this is what we're looking at. We have the point of control over here, which also coincided with a key resistance level for Bitcoin. And if I take a fib retracement here from the top all the way down to the bottom, as we can see, the 0.88 fib was a key rejection level for Bitcoin. And if I zoom in a little bit closer, you'll see exactly what I mean. Bitcoin got a massive pump, we came back down, we wicked above the 0.886, then we came back down and set a low, only to get a massive bounce and get rejected at this key level before Bitcoin went ahead and went lower and lower. Now, I'm not saying that this is necessarily the case for Bitcoin, but we cannot ignore the fact that this is starting to look very similar to what happened in 2024. As we can see here, I'll take a fib from the top all the way down to this bottom, and where do you see that Bitcoin is rejecting? Right now, it is right at the 0.886 Fibonacci level. And we can see that we wicked a little bit above this level. Now, will we see a deeper correction like we saw back in 2024? What you want to pay attention to is, of course, this previous breakdown zone, which is right around 102K as support. If we can hold that, then perhaps we consolidate, and the most bullish case scenario would be for us to go ahead, target that 106K level, and then hopefully hold that level as support. But we cannot ignore the fact that this could be a local top. And would it really surprise you if Bitcoin were to go down and retest that breakdown region once again? If you don't know what I'm talking about, we talked about this on the channel extensively, but the key breakdown region was right around here. Give it between $95,000 all the way up to around 98K. Now, initially, we were actually questioning whether or not Bitcoin would be able to break above this zone. And you can see that we wicked above it, it acted as resistance temporarily, and then we got a massive move to the upside. Usually when we get these massive impulsive pumps from the low, Bitcoin will come back and retest these key levels. Now, the breakdown region was a crucial level to get to. And it wouldn't surprise me if we were to chop back down here to hold it as support before Bitcoin goes ahead and puts it an all-time high. Right now, we can see that on the daily chart, we are starting to round out a little bit here. And as I showed you on the other chart, it is right at the 0.88 fib level. If we get acceptance above this level and can hold it as support, 106K is the most important milestone to break. And just to remind you, the reason why 106K is so important is because we never got a daily close above that level. And if we can get enough steam to close the daily candle above this level, Bitcoin would be going much, much higher. But I do have to warn you, because several rejections at this level could send us a lot lower, perhaps targeting the breakdown region, which is right around here and which is right around here before we went ahead and put in that new low. Now, if you're a spot trader, you shouldn't be concerned, because a retest of these levels would ultimately give us enough fuel, in my opinion, to break past the 106K barrier with a lot of confidence and then set a brand new all-time high for Bitcoin. And as we analyze if this is potentially a local top, we should also be looking at the open interest, and we can see that there was a ton of open interest added since yesterday, 1.7 billion to be exact. Funding is positive, and we are at the point where longs are now forcing the upside move. And also, if you go through this comment section, we can see as well that Coinbase Premium seems to be gone. And if you didn't know, when the Coinbase Premium buys are there, we typically get those massive pumps, which is the one that we just saw. So I think that it probably is more than likely at this point that we are seeing a little bit of a local top. And taking a look at the stock market, we are still below the most important level, which is the 200-day moving average. I won't go into too much detail here, but just a reminder, if we get rejected at this level, of course, it will not be positive for Bitcoin. But if we can go ahead and hold this top level as support, all of a sudden, as I mentioned in yesterday's video, we would be putting in a new all-time high for stocks, and this would likely fuel Bitcoin even higher. Now, I wanted to touch quickly on something that we addressed about 1 week ago, and that was suggesting that the ETH bottom could be in against Bitcoin. That is right around this 2019 level. Now, the reason why we thought that this bottom could be in was because, of course, we held it as support multiple times back all the way in 2019. Now, we wicked to this level, and in case you didn't know, in my video, here's the exact same chart. We can see down here that we wicked to the level, and I was saying that it was very good risk to reward to convert some Bitcoin into Ethereum. The only thing that's very important that you need to consider here is that we're still not above the bull market support band. So until we can hold this level as support, which are these two lines that are crossing over here, there would always be the chance that we could get rejected at this level and then form a nice double bottom before ETH Bitcoin can fully go higher as monetary policy hopefully shifts. The reason why this double bottom is still potentially in the cards is because monetary policy has not changed. We are still in quantitative tightening, as we saw at the Fed's recent meeting. And just quickly before we go over the key events that will be coming this week, let's take a look at the liquidation heat map. There is a ton of liquidity below the current levels, which could suggest that a pullback is imminent for Bitcoin. I've always been sharing this chart, but we can still see that there's way more longs in the market than shorts, which could also suggest that we are near that local top. And the final part of this video that I want to go over are the events of this week. It's about to be a volatile one. Key events: April CPI inflation data, which is tomorrow, Tuesday. OPEC monthly report, Wednesday. April PPI inflation data, Thursday. April retail sales data, Thursday. Fed Chair Jerome Powell speaks on Thursday as well. So keep your eyes on that one, because whenever he speaks, as we know, we will likely see tons of volatility. And then the last is the MI consumer sentiment data on Friday. Prepare yourselves. It's about to be a very shaky market. And back to the Bitcoin chart before we wrap this up. So far, it's been looking like we've been losing a little bit of steam, as we can see here. We really just need to make it above 106K on the daily time frame before I'm confident in saying that Bitcoin will be putting in an aggressive all-time high. But our analysis of this video does suggest that a local top could be in right around the 0.88 Fibonacci level, which we saw the same thing happen back in 2024 when Bitcoin went ahead and made that crazy range over the course of the summer. We got rejected right at the 0.886. And that sums up today's video. It looks like a local top could be forming for Bitcoin, but if we can break above 106K and hold it as support, we would likely be going much, much higher. Keep your eyes on the levels that I outlined in this video. And as always, if you'd like to trade cryptocurrencies, whether that's Bitcoin or even altcoins, you have the first link in my description down below, which brings you directly to Weeks. You can earn a crazy bonus by signing up with my link, up to $30,000 based on your trading volume. You can also earn up to $100 for free simply for signing up and connecting your mobile device or your email to your account. I hope you enjoyed the content. If you did, make sure to smash that like button and subscribe, and I'll see you in tomorrow's video.